Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are back with the Counselor Reacts. Today, we're going to take a little spin in a different direction. I don't really do a lot of videos about Magic the Gathering, mostly specifically because I just have done a couple card packs, but I really do enjoy Magic the Gathering. In fact, I enjoy it so much that in my TCG club that I've made for my students on Fridays, we're learning to play Pokemon right now, which is pretty easy. And I'll eventually teach them Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's kind of more advanced. So next one after Pokemon is going to be Magic the Gathering, and I'm going to teach them how to play Commander because it's going to be really fun. And I think those kids are really going to enjoy it. But I do play a lot of Magic. And so we have a video by Tolarian Community College. I saw this. A lot of people were pointing out, like, oh, Magic is about to not be Magic. It's about to be Fortnite, but for cards. And I have my own personal opinion, but I'm interested to see what this video is going to be about, because I've heard about Tolarian. I've seen a couple of his videos. He's pretty popular. So we're going to check out the professor, as he is called, and we're going to see what's going on.
Several days ago, during MagicCon Vegas, Wizards of the Coast made a series of what can only be described as bombshell announcements. And no, I am not talking about the fact that there will be God knows how many SpongeBob SquarePants Magic the Gathering cards via an upcoming Secret Lair drop. And yes, you heard me correct. That is not a joke. There will be SpongeBob.
Why? Like, everyone thought Fortnite was like meme, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I do not think, listen, it's ironic that I just said I'm going to teach my students who are in elementary how to play Magic the Gathering. This is specifically geared toward kids and young high school students. Like, this is exactly what's going on. This is not meant for your college level adults. Like, hey guys, you're watching cartoons, right? SpongeBob SquarePants. Where's Cat Dog? Where's Cat Dog? Or the Fairy Odd Parents? Is that next? Are we gonna get Fairy Odd Parents? Oh, if I don't get Johnny Bravo, I'm gonna be pissed. I want my Johnny Bravo. I want him dancing. Like, I want that to be a Magic card where when someone tries to attack me, I just become immune. I become indestructible, hexproof, and just Johnny dancing, and he's just laughing at you. But memes aside, this is too much. This is too far.
SquarePants Magic cards coming to us via Secret Lair. Remember when, during the early days of Universes Beyond, the phrase Magic Adjacent was thrown around to douse concerns about bringing in ridiculous IPs to Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Actually, I think SpongeBob SquarePants was thrown around as an actual example by a lot of critics and dismissed as a slippery slope fallacy. Well, I guess that slope was really, really, really slippery after all.
Yeah, we've slipped downhill. We are now into Fortnite territory. Can I just make some, I know we're talking about cards right now, but just even in the video game industry, why is it now everything is doing this? Like, Fortnite obviously started, and that was their catch-all, right? It was always going to grab everything. Now you have like Call of Duty that's doing it. You have like Halo. I don't know. Like, eventually they're gonna start doing that. Like, they had cat ears, and I'm waiting for some kind of crossover. Like, Destiny's doing it. Even like Rainbow Six Siege has Master Chief. Like, and then also like other games are doing crossovers with different characters. And like, it was funny at first. Like, Final Fantasy did it with like Assassin's Creed. Like, okay, I can kind of see that, you know. But then you have like every like media source doesn't have to be a crossover and a copy pasta of Fortnite, or have it like it's okay to have its own self-contained world. I don't know. Maybe I'm just complaining. Maybe like I see it being okay to try to introduce new players and trying to bring younger audiences into a game that maybe it's boomers and millennials like me are only really play, and they need, you know, At what point is it just greed though? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that still buy and play Magic. At what point is it they're just getting too greedy, and so that's why they're watering how the game is?
All because here we are. But don't worry, of course, because if you don't like Universes Beyond cards, you don't have to put them in your decks. And they are not even legal in formats such as Standard and Pioneer, and are really more of a special supplement for
you mostly see these in like Commander. Like, you see a lot of Commander cards from these sets, which is fine. I think Commander is the catch-all. It's the fun game. You're playing with buddies anyways. You have rule 0, so you can decide, hey, no universes outside of just Magic. You can do that. Most people don't, because it's kind of screwy, and it's like, hey, just let me play how I want to play.
For those players who are interested in them. Or at least they were, because all of that is about to change, starting in January, when Universes Beyond becomes the new normal of Magic the Gathering. This is the announcement that I wish to talk about today, that beginning in 2025, Universes Beyond sets will be legal in all formats, including Standard and Pioneer, and, well, all formats, and half of all Magic the Gathering sets will be Universes Beyond sets.
I'm gonna be honest, this is horrible. As someone who got into Magic the Gathering back in Ravnica, Return to Ravnica, like that's when I started. I started getting Return. I was Boros. That was my guild. Now I'm more of an Izzet main, but I still, me and Boros were on the side, But it's just it's crazy to me that we went from constant sets, and I loved like the Phyrexian set. I loved Eldrazi's. Those are my two factions that I love. Is Phyrexians and Eldrazi's. I love it. It hurt my soul when we had this build up to all would be one, like the Phyrexian sets, and the ending of the story and the cards was just, it was bad and it was rushed. And that's all they keep, the amount of rotations of content is just faster and faster and faster, and the amount of cards they produce is crazy. Like, you have to, like, it used to be, I would love to buy a booster, like a box every rotation, because you'd get several months. And now it's like every month, or it feels like, that you get all these secret layers, you get all these extra content, and you feel like you FOMO, fear of missing out. So much so that I have gone to the route of just getting proxy cards. Like, you can get a $30 card from, like, one $30 card that is sought after from 5 sets that were back to back to back, and I can get them for like $3. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't play competitively. I play with friends, and I often tell them, like, hey, I'm playing proxies. It's based off a real card. It feels like a real card. It weighs about the same. For all intents and purposes, it's a real card. It's cardboard or whatever, paper cardboard. And I play. I think a lot of people are going into the proxies. I think proxy businesses have shot up because of the amount of content. And this is not going to do this is another addition of things that people are complaining about, is now half of it you're telling me isn't even Magic. It's just other universes. Like, what is this game now? Which I think it's almost like, to put it in perspective, let's say like Halo. Let's say half of the year is Halo, and then the other half is Mortal Kombat. You're like, but that's not the game that I wanted to play. Well, that's what you're getting now.
I will repeat that because it bears repetition. In just a few months, half of all Magic the Gathering sets, and by sets, I mean big old booster boxes made for Standard, half of them will be Universes Beyond. I want to be clear that we are not talking about secret layers, but rather complete 250 plus card Standard sets.
And that's a problem. Like, because here's the thing, at least in the Magic sets, if I didn't like the Duskborn and like there was the cowboy one, I didn't really care for the theme, didn't care, but I was still able to find cards that I like. I'll give you the Vaultborn Tyrant. That I thought was really good. I really enjoyed the Vaultborn Tyrant. That was really cool. I really enjoyed it. But if you have, like, let's say an entire set is SpongeBob themed and all the cards are SpongeBob, I'm not going to want to play or use any of the cards because I have to stare at this. Like, I have a dinosaur deck, but this really good card just so happens to be in SpongeBob and it doesn't fit thematically. Yes, could I just get over it? Also, you just get proxies of it? Yes, people can make custom proxies. Thank God for that. And that's another thing. I do feel like that's going to be shooting up. Again, custom proxies, that's another thing people are going to be wanting, especially if it is like a SpongeBob set and you're like, I don't want this.
Kaladesh and Lorwyn and Ravnica and Return to Ravnica and Dominaria, those sets, half of them will now be Universes Beyond and legal in all formats. The first of these is Spider-Man. We're actually getting apparently a lot of Marvel sets, so instead of going to Alara or a new Magic plane, we'll be getting...
Which people who are not into Magic, these are just the planes of existence. In Magic, there's multiple planes, like think of worlds within the reality, and that's the cool thing about it. And it makes sense that they have Universes Beyond. Like, it's not, you have the Magic universe and there's other universes. But the problem with these sets, they're like one-offs. They're not connected. They're not connected, and that's why people don't like them, because it's like it's a one-off thing, and they're based off other universes, but there's no connection. There's stories that are actually integrated into the card game. Like, there's actual books based on Magic the Gathering, and you read the books and the cards tell a story. They all link together, and that's what's really cool. Think of like Dark Souls, where you read the items and they give the story as part of it. That's what the cards do, and it's really, really cool. You are not just playing a game, you're playing a story. But you're taking that out when you just have Universe Beyond. It's no longer the story, it's just whatever you already know. And it doesn't link anywhere to the characters of the universe. You have like main characters that have spanned on different sagas and arcs, and suddenly you're just like, oh, we're just gonna shelve those and we're gonna have these heroes that don't connect to the actual universe. It's just a one-off thing. I don't know, like I don't like it.
Hundreds of Spider-Man Magic cards to forever be legal in and a part of all Magic the Gathering formats. Next year, we were supposed to return to Lorwyn, but that has now been pushed back to make room for, you guessed it, another Universes Beyond set. That's in addition to the Spider-Man set and in addition to the Final Fantasy set, because again, half of all Magic the Gathering,
I hope he talks about the Final Fantasy, because I do have an opinion on that set, by the way,
is now Universes Beyond.
You can tell he's over it. I feel bad for him.
I'm not happy, and I'd like to talk about it.
Pop off, King.
Blah 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 blah.
I need a screen like this. Tolarian wins. Or when I ramble, when I go on a rant, I need a screen like this. I need a picture of that says Rambling Man time or something like that. Just rambling time. I want that. This is such a good idea, because hit the like button and comment down below if you would like to see not this, but the Rambling Man, and I'll make my own original thing, so I'm not copy pasting. But the idea, the theme, like the concept of it, I want to take and then make my own version of it. I love it.
Blah.
By the way, I need to go back to wearing my suit, and I like how it's like professional. I was thinking about one day doing a react from my couch, and like my counselor couch or something like that. Like that, I love the simplicity of the background. It's clean.
I just want to start with the usual disclaimers. Magic is not dying. I am not quitting Magic, and
I don't think it will ever die, because Magic has such a deep-seated history that even if all the sets for the year are garbage, there are so many cards. There are so many cards in Magic the Gathering that you can make so many different decks and combination of decks. There is no way this card game's dying. It's just, there's so many options. And that's a good thing. So there's always like the fallback, like, oh, well, this year is a wash for me. at least I can go. Maybe I'll save up and finally get those classic cards. Maybe I'll spend $1 million on a Black Lotus that I can't even play. By the way, like, I do have a proxy Black Lotus just to have. Like, I think about I'm gonna put it over there just to have it, just as like a nod to like his MTG Magic, because I have Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, but no Magic cards. I think that's what I'm gonna do in the future.
If you love that there are cards of SpongeBob SquarePants or Spider-Man, Jurassic Park, Ghostbusters, Fast and the Furious, or
no way! There's no shot Fast and Furious is again here.
Whatever else is coming, and with half
no way.
of all Magic sets to be Universes Beyond.
No way there's Fast and the Furious. Gotta believe in family. Just playing Commander with your friends and be like, sorry, I gotta do this for family. I gotta take you out for family.
A lot is coming. I am happy if those cards bring you joy. I really am. You should never, ever be made to feel bad because you love Universes Beyond cards. And if you came to the game through Fallout or Spider-Man or Final Fantasy, that's awesome if that got you excited about playing this game. My frustration isn't about the existence of Universes Beyond cards, but this change for Universes Beyond to be half of all Premier sets going forward. It's an issue of quantity, not the Universes Beyond cards themselves.
It's quantity, but it's also quality, because if you half the cards aren't even based on the game you enjoy, you're losing the quality of the fact that you're missing out on the theme, the story, these different characters and planes that you love. Like I think if it's tasteful, it makes sense. Like Dungeons and Dragons, that made sense because it's made by Wizards of the Coast. That's their baby, and it fits the theme. Jurassic Park, outside of like the Malcolm and all these other side characters, like why it should have been about the dinosaurs and only the dinosaurs. That makes sense. I think the dinosaur theme was matched because we have dinosaurs in the game, and even though it was based on park dinosaurs, it still fits. Like it's not. Dinosaurs are dinosaurs, but then you have SpongeBob. Like we don't have sponges. I think we might have some sponges, but we don't have like cartoons in Magic the Gathering. Like it is so out of the way. Like at least you can use Dungeons and Dragons and Jurassic Park as like thematically you can make an argument that they fit. But you have like Fast and the Furious. If that really is a thing that's coming into Magic, like that has nothing to do with Magic.
And I will always play Magic with you. I will always get a game and not give you grief about the cards you love and play with. But I'm not happy, and I shouldn't have to lie about that either.
No, I mean,
this
pop off.
Breaks my heart because half of Magic the Gathering isn't Magic the Gathering anymore.
Nope.
It feels as if the world of Magic is disappearing, as if the game of Magic the Gathering isn't even Magic the Gathering anymore, but
it feels like they're treating Magic the Gathering like Legos. Like, if you remember as a kid, you had Bionicles, and now like the Ninja set that came after it, like it was all like cool things. Now you have like Fortnite, Halo, like there's so many different versions that you're like, you love the original theme of Legos. And I know Legos had like City and stuff like that, and there was Barbie, like obviously there's always been crossovers. But Legos has really like stepped up to where it's like all these different Lego versions of things are like, why is that even a thing? Avatar, Legos, One Piece. Actually, I would be really excited about One Piece Legos. I'm not gonna lie, Goku. But I'm just saying, like the idea is people are accustomed to how things are, and now it's just expanding to where it's no longer the thing you grew up with or the thing you fell in love with, and it's like reading a good book, but suddenly halfway they change the entire story. You have a new main character, and now they're in a different world. And you're like, what the hell happened? What? I was reading this series, and suddenly the saga just completely changed, and I think that's bad.
But rather a game that is a collection of pop culture advertisements for other properties, and then also sometimes Magic. And it's also a very small consolation that half of all Magic the Gathering sets are still Magic the Gathering IP, when most of the Magic sets we get these days seem to just be our characters dressing up in costumes. We got Magic characters dressed as cowboys, and Magic characters dressed as detectives, and Magic characters kinda in a 1980s horror movie. Next year, our first...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. He's not wrong. Like, though, I think it's fine. Like, I think this is better, right? They are taking new themes. They're taking characters. They're trying something different. Like, you can only go to the same world, like Ravnica. How many times are we going to go to Ravnica and it's just the same guild issues? People will get bored. Like, there's multiple themes, new themes. I think this is fine. I think I would rather have like the theme be different, but with characters you know, versus universes that have nothing to do with it.
First in-universe set will be Magic characters dressed as race car drivers.
That's cool,
Your
though.
favorite planeswalkers on motorcycles. The set symbol is even a NASCAR-like black and white checkered flag. So...
Oh my God. They didn't even try to be unique. It's literally just a race car flag. It's not even like usually they make really cool, unique symbols, and it's a race car flag. Well, I can't wait to play NASCAR, my car game. Hell yeah, brother. We're going to have some NASCAR drivers up here. Everyone continue to take a left turn. He's taking another left turn, brother.
This is what we get for the 50% of sets that are still Magic. Cowboys and fedora-wearing detectives, and those planeswalkers in race cars and motorcycles, speeding their way in from a world of television sets, Air Jordan sneakers,
No
and
shot.
Ghostbusters. After the racing set, we're gonna have the Spider-Man set, and then the Final Fantasy set, and then our in-universe Magic set is the space set. So your favorite Magic characters in outer space.
Woo! We're going to space, brother. Wait. How does that work, though? For anyone that doesn't know, like, there's like the void, like, there's like multiple layers of reality. Like, there's the void and all that stuff where like Eldrazi are. Like, and to my knowledge, you have to go through Planeswalker's portal away, like go through this void to go to different. So, is there like, are they trying to expand outside of a planes into the planets now? Like, we're going to go to the moon. Oh, we're going to Innistrad, and we're going to the moon to see Emrakul. Wow, that would be cool. Isn't that cool?
Then,
oh, do you know what this means? We're going to get aliens. Oh, I'm calling it now. We're going to get a space set, and they're going to introduce aliens, which honestly, with like how the fact that if they do like a Phyrexian crossover or something, that would be badass. Because Xenomorphs and Phyrexians, like, they have like the same thing going on where they're trying, like, obviously one's based off oil and stuff, but they're trying to corrupt. But like, Xenomorphs are essentially the Phyrexian Obliterator. Like, they're like almost the same thing.
the as of yet unrevealed additional Universe Beyond standard set, the one they delayed Return to Lorwyn for. And it just feels like gone are the days of rich, vibrant fantasy worlds. And characters that are not just dressed up in a costume, not just a meme or a joke or a reference to a real world thing. We're taking bets around the office, and the belief is this as of yet unnamed Magic set might be Game of Thrones. And if it is, that would probably make it feel more like a Magic the Gathering set than many recent in-universe Magic.
And that's what I'm saying about like things that match the theme of Magic. Like this makes sense. When you have IPs that kind of can integrate into Magic and be their own thing, like this makes sense. Obviously, it's disattached from the overall theme, but it's more Magic than anything else. More than SpongeBob, Fortnite, and Fast and the Furious, because of family.
The Gathering sets. Many in-universe booster packs now have Universes Beyond cards in them. Ixalan had Jurassic World.
But granted, I'm going to be honest. I agree that these characters should never have been in the game or the cards. Like this should never have been a thing. Like these, it breaks this. But if you just had the dinosaurs like raptors, or you had Indoraptor, Indominus Rex, all those main core dinosaurs, it would have flown really well with Ixalan, because that's not dinosaurs too. It's not like there's anything unique about dinosaur in the story. Like dinosaurs are dinosaurs, but overall, like absolutely. By the way, like these cars were so expensive on release, but I love them. I still need to buy the rest of them. I just haven't. But overall, like I understand what he's saying, but you could make them tasteful.
Cards. The Brothers War had Transformers cards. I'm betting that the space set.
Yeah, the Brothers War was kind of like, I'm not understanding why we had to do Transformers.
Might have Star Trek or Star Wars cards in packs.
I'm gonna be honest though. Star Wars would would work. Like I know that seems like a weird take, but Star Wars would actually work with like Magic the Gathering. Like just the theme of like space and like the Force. You have planeswalkers, you have Force wielders, sci-fi. Like you could make it work. There's like different alien types, like the Wookiees and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you can make it work. And I don't know. You can make it work tastefully, but I know that people won't agree with that. I don't know. I'm not even like a huge Star Wars fan, but the idea would be kind of badass.
Murders at Karlov Manor took one of the most iconic Magic the Gathering worlds and turned it literally into Clue, the board game. Complete
There's nothing wrong with that.
Magic cards like Colonel Mustard and Professor Plum.
Commander Mustard. Other soldiers you control have hit. I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna be honest, that's pretty cool if it's just a Clue game.
Goodness, we will still be getting Return to Tarkir next year. As far as I can tell, this set won't have characters in hats and will be like a Magic set of old, exploring the rich setting and lore of a unique Magic plane, following our beloved characters on their journey and getting cards rich in flavor and design and that take themselves and their settings seriously.
By the way, I'm excited for the set because we're about to get a crap ton of dragons.
Yay for Tarkir. I am so excited for this. Maybe Aether Drift booster packs will have Fast and the Furious cards in them. That's my guess. Flavor text. It's about family. But
it's about family. You gotta have family, brother.
I wish it was about Magic the Gathering and not SpongeBob SquarePants. And it makes me sad that we'll soon.
When Goku, when's the crossover? Come on. One Piece cards. Actually, that'll never happen because One Piece is a game now, but let's go. Dragon Ball Z. Let's go. I want Goku. I want Ultra Instinct Goku to slap Tiamat and the other commanders. I'm trying to think of some iconic commanders. I want Goku to face off against the Phyrexians and to kill Ulamog and all that stuff. Like, yeah, let's go.
Be watching competitive Magic events with Spider-Man versus Cloud from Final Fantasy. There's been a lot of people digging through old Blogatog posts from Mark Rosewater, finding ones from over a decade ago where he stresses that Magic wants to keep its own lore and worlds, not bring in outside properties. They found one where he says he doesn't want Magic to become a hodgepodge of outside IPs. And you know what? I think it's fair to highlight these old posts and discuss them, but I also think it's fair to recognize that when looking at a decade or older post, things change, corporate direction changes, and there's no nefarious intent here. And I really want to emphasize that Mark is a wonderful, kind, and awesome person. He's also a brilliant game designer and is responsible.
He's got his own music, sorry.
Responsible for so much of what you and I love about Magic the Gathering, and he really, really cares. So when I talk about his old, sometimes contradictory blog posts, it's not to attack him personally, and you should not attack him or anyone at Wizards of the Coast or anywhere for that matter, but again, I do feel it's fair to offer some criticisms.
And that's the thing. I think that what he's saying is very, very fair. Because there was like commander changes and they literally took some commander specific cards and ban them, which is not something really known for Commander. Like usually everything's a free for all, but now they started banning cards, which wasn't even made by Wizards themselves. In fact, it was such a problem that Wizards stepped in. I guess now they're in control. They're deciding the ban list now instead of this third party that has nothing to do with Magic. But there's a reason why Rule Zero exists, because you're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna play these cards. Screw the third party who banned them. Screw that. We're gonna play how we want to play, friends. And that's why Commander's usually the better version of Magic, because you get to play on your own terms with your friends and how you want to play. In general, card games are like that. You can have your own Rule Zeros, but people were going after different people and attacking them and threatening them, and it was crazy. But there was also a lot of fair criticism that they were like, you sold all these expensive cards and now you're telling me they're banned. Because Commander is not cheap. It is sometimes expensive to get some of the best cards. And when you ban some of the best cards, you burn people's money. You literally just burned it for people who actually play competitive or people who are like really invested. And sometimes you don't have cool friends that are okay with you playing banned stuff. There are some douche canoes out there that refuse to play against banned cards, and they're not fun, which I would just go find new friends. But if you go to your local game shop, like, you have to play in accordance to people there. But he's very right. There's a difference from criticism and attacks. You can criticize previous words and people, like their thoughts, but not attack them directly, saying and calling them out and making them seem like they're a villain. You can criticize what they have said versus what they actually do.
And you know what? I think it's fair for me to just say I'm really bummed about this. There's been a lot of anger and aggression towards many people who are just expressing their disappointment over these changes. And if people are not being toxic about it, then let them express their sadness. For me, when I look at...
Yeah, I think that's... there's two sides. There are people who take it too far, and then there's people who try to diminish, and it's you're just complaining. That's the excuse I hear about anyone that gives fair criticism. It's, you're complaining. You're never happy. Gosh, go do something else. Those are like always I hate people like this because they are so goddamn stupid. It is okay to criticize something that you enjoy, that you love. It's okay.
At the posts starting around when Universes Beyond began, it feels as though there is a progression of reassurances, from telling us that there's no need to panic about just 5 Walking Dead cards, to saying that Universes Beyond is something we don't have to play with if we don't want to. And then as more and more Universes Beyond entered Magic, seeing things like, don't worry, it's not in Premier sets. There's no plan for it to ever be in Premier sets. And now, seemingly suddenly, well, it's gonna be in half, 50% of all Premier sets. It kind of reminds me of the old adage about boiling a frog in water, that you turn up the temperature very slowly so the frog doesn't notice, and then eventually the water is boiling and half of Magic is Universes Beyond. And then I see things like, despite Mark saying sales is what drove us to this point, there's another post where he says, maybe this isn't permanent, it doesn't have to be. Maybe one day we could go back to fewer Universes Beyond sets. I mean, yeah, maybe, but pardon me if I don't put too much hope in that.
No, money. I appreciate the honesty of money. Because at the end of the day, that is exactly why they're doing it. Money. They can make a crap ton of money out of it. They're going to bring new faces in, like, ooh, SpongeBob. Now you got kids wanting to play the game. Now they're buying the SpongeBob cards. They're buying Fortnite. Like, obviously there's adults that play Fortnite too. Like, let's just not act like that was a SpongeBob. Like, it's cartoon. This definitely there's more and more things that are going to bring video games like Final Fantasy. This is going to be bringing more people into the game. And that's what they want. They want money. That's all it's about. It's about money. And I'm glad at least he was honest enough to say, hey, here it is. But let's not give false hope that we're going to return to not having these alternate universes. Because if they do this social card experiment where they do half and they make more money, you will expect to see it to remain the same.
After all, if sales is what drove us here, then who's to say that we don't continue to expand Universes Beyond to 60, 70, 80% of all sets? Look at what Lego turned into. If
I
you'll
said
allow
that.
me to step back into my former English professor shoes for just a moment, I have 2 pieces of reading homework for you. The first is an essay by one of the greatest Magic the Gathering content creators there is,
I have no idea
Sam
who
of
this.
Ristic Studies, who wrote an article titled "The Foundation is Rotten." It's linked
Ooh.
in this video's description, and I encourage you to read it. But there's one more thing I'd like you to read called "The Thermocline of Trust," an article about how businesses may grow steadily until a critical point where trust is lost, leading to a rapid decline in users and revenue. There's also a great accompanying thread by John Bull that I'll link about his own experience working with companies that broke trust with their own customers and how those companies often offered up the excuse that, yeah, we made these dramatic changes, but people still bought the product, it's still sold. And it makes me think of things like, again, Rosewater saying it was sales that drove us here, that Universes Beyond is selling.
And that's the way it is. It's about money. It is. They're trying to be like, hey, we got to do this because of reasons. We've got to do this, guys. We got to make some sales, and it's doing well. So we got to keep doing it.
And selling well. And I don't doubt that it is. And I don't want to dwell on Blogatog anymore, but please read those articles linked in this video's description. One last homework assignment by me, if you will. In Sam's article, he opens with, "The Walking Dead was the canary's call that we were told to ignore. We were accused of overreacting. It was just 5 cards, and they weren't good enough to be relevant anywhere. But neither was the television show at that point, so the concept felt a little odd and out of place, all things considered. When the set did gangbusters, we were lectured about invisible people who care about magic beyond our little internet bubbles. Gas burns brightest from street lamps just above your wary head. 4 years have passed. The boundaries between our game and their media franchises have melted away, and Magic is now designating itself an IP within its own flagship presentations. Does that mean Magic the Gathering really isn't Magic the Gathering anymore?"
I like how he points out the Walking Dead, because I remember when they first announced this, and people were upset. They hated it. Like, they absolutely hated the Walking Dead set. They're like, what is this? Oh, it's not, it's only legal for like Commander or stuff like that. Like, it's not legal in anything else. Like, don't worry about it. It's just more of a collectible thing. I remember that, and I remember the pushback that they try to say it's not a big deal. It is definitely it's always about putting your foot in the door, and you slowly you keep pushing it. I think the frog in the wire is a great analogy, where you're just putting the frog and you're cranking up the temperature slowly, and then you get used to it. You're like, oh well, now we're going from secret layers, which now you're used to. Now we're putting in core sets like bonus cards, and then you get used to it. Oh, now they're going to try actual core sets that are based on Universes Beyond, instead of just having like 13 cards in the 250. I think I agree. It is obvious that this was intentional, and they wormed their way through it, and people, they bought it. They spoke with their money, and that's it. That's the bottom dollar. People spoke with their money.
No, it doesn't. And I still have love and hope for this game. I mentioned earlier my excitement for our return to Tarkir next year, but I don't even have to wait for 2025.
Sorry.
Because Magic Foundations is being released, and I have never seen a better love letter to the worlds and history of Magic the Gathering than Magic Foundations. The set is absolutely massive. I've heard many people describe—
Wow. Some of the, if you don't play Magic Gathering, you have to realize that some of these cards are iconic, like very old cards. Like, I have this in my Dragon deck. Some of these are some old classic cards, so people are going to be able to experience these for the first time or again.
It as akin to a cube, but I think of it as everything that has always made
And some of these cards are expensive.
magic distilled into a single set that will be a part of Standard and this game for years to come. The
Day of Judgment. I have my original Day of Judgment.
fact that so many Many people in this community seem to be overwhelmingly excited for Magic Foundations. Also makes me think that maybe that sales data will show that there's value still in Magic's worlds, in the game we have all played for years, and I cannot wait to explore everything that Magic Foundations is bringing to the table. I may be sad that half of all Premier sets going forward will be Universes Beyond, but that sadness will never, ever kill my love for Magic. It will not dilute the joy I get playing Magic with all of you, nor the excitement I feel seeing new worlds like Bloomborough or returning to beloved worlds like Kamigawa and Tarkir, and Lorwyn eventually. It may have been pushed back to make room for another Universes Beyond set, but it will come. And when it does, I am positive it will be one of the highlights of the year, if not the highlight of that year. 50% of all Magic sets are Universes Beyond? Well, Magic the Gathering isn't a percentage, and my enjoyment of this game is not a ratio. I mean it when I say that I hope people enjoy those SpongeBob SquarePants cards and those Spider-Man cards, and I'm sure that those Final Fantasy cards will have great designs and bring in tons of new players.
And I'm going to say it right now. Your boy's happy for Final Fantasy. I cannot wait to play with Sephiroth. I hope there's like 3 different versions of the Sephiroth. Is your boy's going to be making a Sephiroth deck. Oh, baby. I hope we have Jenova. I hope we have a bunch of Final Fantasy characters that I can really build into a Sephiroth deck. Your boy's hype with a one-winged angel. I hope we have a literal Seraph god of Sephiroth. Like, please let us get the big boy Sephiroth so I can have a cool god deck. But anyways, like that, the Final Fantasy world matches more within the context of Magic the Gathering than like SpongeBob, right? Because it like Magic the Gathering mirrors kind of Final Fantasy, whereas Final Fantasy has all these different worlds within like the whole thing. It's not a continuation like Magic Gathering is, because Magic Gathering is just a nonstop continuing story, whereas Final Fantasy is like different worlds, different stories, but it's still pretty cool that you have these pocket universes. They can definitely, I can see them fitting within the world and context of Magic the Gathering more so than others.
To this game that we can then all sit around the table and play with. I will not dismiss my sadness, and I won't dismiss the feelings of other people either, but nothing will dismiss my love of this game, my excitement for sets like Foundations, and the joy I feel building decks and jamming games with friends. Magic the Gathering belongs to no one person or even one company. It is all of ours, and it's not going anywhere. Neither are we.
I think that's fair. Like, this is a card game that's not like, it's not meant for one person. Like, you talking about video games where it is meant for like one specific person. Like, it's a target audience. Magic has such a diverse story and character and catalog of like cards, and just the fact that you can be a red player, a blue mage, you can be all these different things. It is meant for more than just one person and personalities. Like, that's the focus. Like, there was literally people play elements like the red and black and all these different card types based on personality. Like, it matches, and it's really like there's actually like personality tests based on Magic. Like, what kind of deck should you make? Like, that's Magic the Gathering. I do think that it should be everyone. I think it can be a good thing to pull in more people, but I also understand the desire to focus on the actual lore and story and character, the world of Magic that's already been cultivated and is ongoing. But family, you gotta have family. All right, the link will be down below for you guys. Check it out. Hit the like button on it. I just want to do a video for once on Magic the Gathering. I thought this was very interesting. That this is a pretty substantial change from how the card game has been to what it's going to be. It is a substantial shift, and I thought it warranted enough to do a review, react on. So I think you guys hit that like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. As always, game out.